Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Financial Security for Dummies by Eric Tyson, MBA. Narrated by Steve Menasche. Publisher's note: in this audio edition, you will hear references to figures and tables present in the print and ebook formats of the book. Limit of liability / disclaimer of warranty. While the publisher and authors have used their best efforts in preparing this work, they make no representations or warranties with respect to the accuracy or completeness of the contents of this work, and specifically disclaim all warranties, including without limitation any implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. No warranty may be created or extended by sales representatives, written sales materials, or promotional statements for this work. The fact that an organization, website, or product is referred to in this work as a citation and/or potential source of further information does not mean that the publisher and authors endorse the information or services the organization, website, or product may provide or recommendations it may make. This work is sold with the understanding that the publisher is not engaged in rendering professional services. The advice and strategies contained herein may not be suitable for your situation. You should consult with a specialist where appropriate. Further, readers should be aware that websites listed in this work may have changed or disappeared between when this work was written and when it is read. Neither the publisher nor authors shall be liable for any loss of profit or any other commercial damages, including but not limited to special, incidental, consequential, or other damages. Introduction. Welcome to Financial Security for Dummies. I know from my work as a personal financial counselor and educator that many Americans lack a sufficient background in the financial basics. My first book in this series, Personal Finance for Dummies, sought to address and help close that gap, and the feedback from that book suggests it clearly has helped. I've seen over time, though, that folks who know many of the basics can still suffer financially at important junctures and when hit by unexpected events. So, this new book, Financial Security for Dummies, is like an advanced version of, or a sequel to, Personal Finance for Dummies. About this book. Most people value financial security and stability, of course, unless they like danger, risk, and turmoil. Living within your means, saving and investing in wise, proven investments, and securing catastrophic insurance are all keys to sound personal financial management. Unfortunately, your financial security can be undermined by things outside of your control. Upsetting events can include macro events like the COVID-19 pandemic, 2020, or financial crisis, 2008, as well as individual life changes or personal crises, such as job loss, divorce, caring for elderly parents, and so on. Part 1 addresses these two major types of crises or catalysts. You may find that at some point you need access to funds in the event of a crisis. It should give you peace of mind to know that there are ways to get help. Part 2 looks at all crises, economic and personal, and discusses safety nets that people can tap and emergency measures they can implement. You may be looking to navigate the barrage of information coming at you while an economic crisis is in motion. Part 3 contains content that is central to the book and vital for you to understand as you deal with turbulent times. To maintain financial stability, you need to keep your financial house in order. Part 4 identifies the key personal finance tasks and steps to take to maximize your future financial security and minimize problems when disruptions inevitably occur. What does the future hold? No one knows for sure, but there are ways to be prepared. Part 5 delves into discerning what pundits may be telling you about current and future economic issues, and finding out how to keep yourself and your finances on track when things look gloomy. It also touches on what future crises may be in store and how to keep your cool. Foolish assumptions. Whenever I approach writing a book, I consider a particular audience for that book. Because of this, I must make some assumptions about who the readers are and what those readers are looking for. Here are a few assumptions I've made about you. You want the best for you and yours and would like to make the most of your money. While you understand there are no guarantees, you'd like to best prepare your financial situation to weather a wide range of adverse conditions. You'd like to gain a better understanding about how the financial markets and economy work so you can intelligently process news and information that hits, especially in the midst of a crisis. You'd like to be positioned to be able to invest at least some of your money when otherwise attractive investments have declined in value. If any of these descriptions hits home for you, you've come to the right place. Icons used in this book. Throughout this book, you can find friendly and useful icons to enhance your reading pleasure and to note specific types of information. Here's what each icon means. Tip. This icon points out something that can save you time, headaches, money, or all of the above. Warning. With this information, I try to direct you away from blunders and mistakes that others have made when making important personal finance and related decisions. Technical stuff. Here I point out potentially interesting but non-essential stuff. True story. Look for this icon to find real-life examples to help exemplify a point. Investigate. I use this icon to highlight when you should look into something on your own or with the assistance of a professional. Remember. This icon flags concepts and facts that I want to ensure you remember as you make personal finance decisions. Beyond the book. In addition to the material in the print or ebook you're reading right now, this product also comes with some Access Anywhere info on the web. Go to dummies.com and type in Financial Security for Dummies cheat sheet in the search box to discover a list of pointers that can help keep your finances safe. Where to go from here? If you have the time and desire, I encourage you to read this book in its entirety. It provides you with a detailed picture of how to best ensure your financial security. But you may also choose to read selected portions. That's one of the great things, among many, about For Dummies books. You can readily pick and choose the information you read based on your individual needs. Part 1. Understanding Financial Security. In this part, discover what financial security means, understand how the economy works and learn from past historical incidents and downturns, Be prepared to navigate unexpected crises. Life is unpredictable. Find ways to weather the storm. Chapter 1. Navigating the Bumpy Road to Financial Independence. In this chapter, defining and reaching for financial security, dealing with crises, tapping opportunities during tough times. Achieving financial independence and feeling financially secure are admittedly subjective assessments. A nest egg of $200,000 may seem like a lot to some people, but not to a high-income earner who is accustomed to spending $100,000 plus annually. Now, for many people, the feeling of financial security isn't simply a matter of how much money you have to your name. Numerous other factors may contribute to feeling secure financially, which I help you to understand. In my work as a financial counselor and educator, I've also seen people for whom having a certain level of wealth to feel secure is a moving target. And those targets tend to keep getting bigger and bigger over time once a given lower targeted amount has been achieved. In this overview chapter, I walk you through determining what financial security means to you, assessing where you are now, and helping you think through what you need to do to accomplish your goals. I also survey the landscape of crises, both personal and in the broader economy, which you should be prepared to handle. Finally, I discuss how to best position yourself to benefit from the inevitable opportunities that present themselves during tough economic times. Reaching for financial security. A good place to begin is by defining what financial security means to you and what is and isn't important to you. Then I help you think through and understand where you are now and what you may need to do to accomplish your goals. Defining what you value. If saving money is a good habit, the more you save, the better, right? Well, no, not really. Unless your sole goal is to amass as much money in various accounts as possible. But what if you're not spending enough to eat a healthy diet? How about some time and money so that you can regularly rest and enjoy some recreation? What about spending for the special people in your life? Think about all the big decisions in your life. Choosing and finding a job, a place to live, a spouse, and so on. For most people, there's a financial component to all of these. When thinking about personal goals, nearly all of them take money to accomplish. Money is inextricably linked to the rest of your life. Making the best financial decisions starts with the big picture and the rest of your life in mind. In other words, holistically. Suppose, like many people, you are working and earning money. You'd like to save and invest some of that and not have to continue working full-time for the rest of your life. But you probably have some other competing uses for your money. These may include things like saving to buy a home or start a business, expenses for your family, a future vacation, and so forth. Money shares some similarities with food. If you don't have enough, you likely notice the insufficiency of your resources. Having more than enough with some reserves and extras usually provides most people with some peace of mind. Different people, though, have different views on how much extra they may want to have. The virtue of a capitalistic economy is that within reason, if you're willing to work hard and seek to improve yourself and your work, over time you should be able to see your money grow. The progress and advancement of technology and society generally increase the purchasing power of your money over time. Some folks lose sight of the differences between necessities and luxuries, especially in affluent and upper middle class communities and circles. We can always find people with bigger homes and more expensive cars who have taken more exotic vacations. The bar can continually be set higher and higher in terms of how much money we need. The continual improvement of products and services, particularly those that incorporate a lot of technology, leads to more folks taking for granted how luxurious some of today's choices are compared with those of the past. Consider what's happened with personal computers and smartphones. Today, consumers buy smartphones that have many of the same functionalities and can access far more information than personal computers could a generation or two ago. And you can buy today's smartphones for less than the cost of personal computers from a generation or two ago. Today's smartphones are like a handheld personal computer, a phone that can easily travel with you, and a quality camera all rolled into one. Automobiles have far more features, especially safety features like airbags and anti-lock brakes, compared to those from a generation or two ago. Today's cars are dramatically more fuel efficient, too. Just walk through most homes and apartments today, and you'll find all sorts of devices like microwave ovens, printers, HD TVs, washers and dryers, dishwashers, and so on, which are far better and relatively less costly than in prior generations. And in some cases, these devices didn't exist or weren't widespread not that many generations ago. So I urge you to step back and think about what it is that you value and to recognize how luxurious are so many of the choices and options that we have in modern American society. With many products and services, we get far more for our money than did folks a generation or two ago. That said, we can all think of some expense categories like higher education, housing in some higher demand cities, such as New York City and San Francisco, and portions of the healthcare industry where the rate of price increases, inflation, may exceed increases in typical wages and the general cost of living. These categories are the exception, not the rule, and you can take steps and actions to mitigate and blunt some or even much of the excessive price increases through the strategies I discuss in this book. Remember, especially in our consumption-oriented society, some folks may get carried away with working and earning more and amassing more money. Life is short, and you can't take your money with you in the end. So there's something to be said for balancing work, earning and saving money, and having sufficient time for family, friends, and your activities and hobbies. Assessing where you are. What's your current personal financial health? There are numerous ways to measure that. When I've worked with clients as a financial counselor and as an educator, I've found the following exercises to be valuable. Net worth analysis. Your ability to accomplish important financial goals, such as buying a home and someday retiring from full-time work, depends upon your net worth. To derive your net worth, you total up your financial assets and subtract your financial liabilities. I typically exclude a person's home in this analysis unless they plan to tap some portion of their home's equity by trading down to a lower-priced property. Spending analysis. You should know where your money goes in a typical month or year, especially if you'd like to save a greater portion of your employment income. Analyzing your historic spending can tell you just that. Saving analysis. Over the past year, What portion of your work income were you able to save? Many people don't know the answer to that important question, and if you don't, you can't really know whether you're on track to accomplish your financial and personal goals. Your investment portfolio. Can your investment portfolio be improved? Do you understand your current investments? How do your current holdings stack up in terms of cost/fees and performance within their respective peer groups? Do your current investment holdings match your risk and return preferences? Your home. If you currently rent or own a home, but are looking to sell and buy another, that takes some advanced planning and analysis. Since housing costs can consume a significant portion of your income and budget, you should ensure that a change in your housing situation fits with your financial and personal goals and planning. Insurance review. You should have insurance to protect you against losses that could be financially catastrophic to you and your loved ones. I know from my counseling work that many folks have gaps in their insurance coverage and are wasting money on overpriced or unnecessary policy features. Employee benefits review. Plenty of employees don't bother to read and review their employee benefits, which typically include various insurance coverages and possibly a retirement savings plan. Employee benefits can actually be quite valuable and should be coordinated with your overall financial plan. These elements form a personal financial plan. You can hire a competent and ethical financial planner to assemble such a plan for you, but you should be aware that many folks sell products on commission or charge hefty ongoing money management fees. Others aren't interested or experienced enough to help you with nuts and bolts issues like analyzing your spending. See Part 4 for more details on getting your personal finance house in order. Grasping financial lingo and trends. Personal financial knowledge and literacy is an enormous obstacle for too many people, including those who have invested tremendous time, energy, and money in their formal educations. Unfortunately, such education rarely includes the vital topic of personal finance. Ubiquitous gurus are another common obstacle. Everywhere you look, especially online and in the media, there are plenty of anointed experts predicting what will supposedly happen with the economy, financial markets, and all sorts of other economic variables. Listening to all these supposed experts and their often conflicting opinions can paralyze you or make you feel that you need to hire them or others like them to manage your money, since it appears that they know so much more than you do. Tip: in reality, it's important that you develop a personal financial plan of action that suits your goals, needs, and concerns, and doesn't involve jumping into and out of investments based upon short-term noise or news events. Trying not to avoid money. One big obstacle is that just about everybody avoids dealing with some aspect of money. For some, it's as simple as avoiding looking regularly at their checking account and verifying transactions and the account balance, or making decisions about where to invest saved money. Others neglect needed insurance coverage, perhaps out of fear of confronting their own mortality and vulnerabilities. Some people are plagued by broader problems, such as feelings of guilt and shame about money, or feeling that money seems dirty and evil. The fact that money-related issues aren't always at the top of your priority list may well be a good sign. Perhaps you spent the past weekend with friends and family, or were engrossed in a captivating book or newly discovered streaming series. But continually avoiding money or some aspect of your finances can result in unnecessary long-term pain. Some personal finance procrastinators can get away with their ways for a number of years. However, whether it's in the short term or the long term, eventually, problems do occur from avoiding dealing with money and related decisions, and sometimes the damage can be catastrophic. Some money avoiders don't plan ahead and save toward future goals. Often, the reality hits home when they contact the Social Security Administration, SSA, or get an update from the SSA and discover what monthly retirement benefit amount they'll get at full retirement age, which is around age 66 to 67 for most people. The reality for many people means the realization that they'll have to continue working into their 70s in order to maintain the modest standard of living which they've become accustomed. Several issues typically cause a lack of retirement funds. Many money avoiders could save more money, but they typically aren't motivated and organized enough to do so. Generally, they haven't bothered to conduct even basic retirement analysis to understand how much they should be saving to reach their retirement goal, or even think about if and when they want to retire. Because money avoiders dislike dealing with money, what they're able to save often gets ignored and languishes in low or no interest bank accounts. Avoiders also tend to fall prey to the worst salespeople, who push them into mediocre or poor investments with high fees. When avoiders choose their own investments, they often do so based on superficial research and analysis, which can lead to piling money into frothy investments when they're popular. Discomfort causes avoiders to bail out when things look bleak. Warning: money avoiders, more often than not, lack wills and other legal documents that should specify to whom various assets shall pass and who is responsible for what, for example, administering the estate and raising minor children in the event of their untimely demise. When money is to pass to heirs through an estate, the absence of documents can lead to major legal and family battles. Making use of insurance, a necessary evil. Because insurance is an admittedly dreadful and unpalatable topic for most people, many folks avoid insurance-related issues. And while well-intentioned and commission-hungry insurance agents get some people to plug insurance gaps, these salespeople may not direct you to a policy best suited to your needs. In fact, brokers may sell you costly insurance, such as cash value life insurance, that provides them with a higher commission and you with less insurance than you need. Insurance gaps come to light when a disability or a protracted illness occurs. Too often, we believe that these problems only happen to elderly people, but they don't. In fact, statistically, you are far more likely to miss work for an extended period of time due to a disability or lengthy illness than you are to pass away prematurely. If others are dependent upon you financially, you likely need certain coverages that would provide for them in the event of your untimely passing. The following table shows the mortality rate for various age ranges and how the rate of course increases with age. You can see that while just 1% of those people between the ages of 25 and 34 pass away each decade, the portion approximately doubles with each passing decade. While 1 in 100 is a relatively small probability, it's a much greater probability than winning your local Mega Millions jackpot. Nearly 1 in every 25 people passes away during the decade between the ages.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?